Going freaks. Yeah, how the hell's it going out there? Hey, look at that, it's Dana Dane. Haven't seen you in 1,000 years. What the hell's going on? Yeah. So let's see. Some interesting news. Figured we'd talk about Nancy Guthrie's case tonight. You know, there's another channel out there, you know, way bigger than mine, but they sort of copied our work on here. Like, we made this whole mapping thing with the cameras and everything about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago maybe. And then they did a show where, hey, look what we found out. It's like exactly the same thing, you know, like just absolutely absurd. You know what's weird is how nobody ever calls them out on it. People like that. You would think people would show up and go, you know what, somebody else did this exact same thing. I mean, don't you think it's pretty weird? Pretty weird stuff. I wasn't able to find those other locations in the shooting. I think in, what was it, Philadelphia? Yeah, I couldn't find those. I saw the story was on Hannity tonight, though, with Nancy Grace. He was like, you got some information that's unbelievable, Nancy. Man, you got some unbelievable information, he said. And then, what you know what the unbelievable information was? The surveillance footage. Yeah, well, we got that yesterday, and it's just out there. It's not like she found some unbelievable information. It's just there. All right. Man, you guys, I mean, the fallout from that game last night that I was telling you about, it's just been ridiculous. Like, it was so bad. You know, it's weird. It's like, I'm not even a fan of either of the team, but, like, the whole day felt shitty. Like, I felt like, you know, I don't know, it's weird. Like, why do I even give a damn about that? The Spurs, though, I mean, just choking and just the worst plays you've ever seen. They had none of those plays against us. They made everything. All right, anyways, there's the news that came out today was, let's see. I'll just go through them in order and see if there's anything different. Oh, yeah, well, this is the, we could take a look at this one because this is from April. And we all know, Nancy Guthrie, she was abducted in February, right? I think February, wasn't it the 1st or something like that? Early morning hours. Yeah, February 1st. And, we've been covering it the whole time. There just isn't really anything new. Today there was some new stuff, but then this was from April. I remember, this is what TMZ was saying, that they received 2 messages related to Nancy Guthrie's case that claimed that 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie was taken by kidnappers to Mexico. The new messages, which were received by TMZ on Monday, this is back then, are from the same person who initially contacted the tabloid news organization in February. And that, but is different than the original 2 messages, the ones that they think are real. The new messages were received by TMZ on Monday are from the same person who initially contacted the tabloid. One Bitcoin is currently worth about $69,000. That was back then. TMZ reports the person claimed in one message that they saw Nancy Guthrie alive with her alleged kidnapper in the Mexican state of Sonora. I mean, so that's sort of interesting, right? The Mexican state of Sonora, which borders part of Arizona. However, the person said in another message that the 84-year-old was dead. TMZ said it forwarded the first message to the FBI. So when you put that one and then you open up some of the new information from the day, it seems like it's almost kind of the same story. I'm wondering if the same person's behind the, quote, tip. But hey, guys, we're having a new show today, so if you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be great. Anonymous tip claimed Nancy Guthrie's grave found in Mexico. I don't know if they said found, sparking massive search. Or I guess maybe that is what they claimed. A group that works to locate missing people in Mexico said they searched for Nancy Guthrie after they received an anonymous tip that she was buried around the border in an unmarked grave. I mean, it's such a huge, vast land. How do you know that you searched everywhere? Ramona Guadalupe Ayala Ortiz, head of the Buscando Causanos Nogales, said the group received a tip on Wednesday about Guthrie, 84, who was abducted from her Tucson, Arizona home more than 70 miles north of the border, city of Nogales. Who was abducted, yeah, so that's, and it's weird, too, because it's a straight shot down there. I don't think she was alive. I haven't thought she's alive since the beginning. If she's alive, it's a freaking miracle. But I just think that my theory is that, she was abducted. It's either a ransom gone wrong and they washed their hands with it and killed her, or it's just some psycho who wanted to, was going to kill her regardless, and then just wanted to see the reaction and sort of, enjoy the news coverage that he created, much like an arsonist. Well, one of those two, and then, then there's other theories like it was a worker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. A group that works to locate, then it says Romano. I just said it. So 70 miles north of the border, that's where she was abducted. And then I'm not sure, what made you dig right there? It's like, was the note really specific, or did it, I don't know. I don't know what these people are doing. Digging there. The anonymous tip claimed Nancy Guthrie was buried around the border in an unmarked grave. Well, that's huge, right? That's a huge area. But don't you think it's interesting that this is sort of the same, area that was mentioned by TMZ and that other person a while ago? Oh, that guy got arrested? That's amazing. Yeah, that idiot. This guy is such a... These people, the JLR clowns, all these guys, they just do some of the most ludicrous shit ever. And look at fame-driven YouTuber arrested near Nancy Guthrie's home for allegedly pitching a pea tent. These people, I tell you. Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. I know, that's what I mean, Karma. How the hell do they even know where to dig? Now, maybe the letter had more information in it. The search effort was also conducted with the help of Sonora State Commission. See, this is the same damn place that TMZ mentioned 2 months ago. With municipal and state officials providing security forces to keep the volunteers and workers safe. Guthrie, the mom of Today's Show host, Savannah Guthrie, vanished from her home in the early hours of February 1st, with the investigation into her disappearance still ongoing. Guthrie is believed to have been taken from her Canalita Foothills home, but no arrests have been made and no new leads have manifested. So that was one article. Then we got another one. So the Arizona sheriff responded to the anonymous tip. Reports regarding an anonymous tip about a Mexican grave in the Nancy Guthrie case have sparked a response. When you say Mexican grave, I thought it was in the U.S. side of the border. I don't know. Sheriff Chris Nano said Thursday in a social media post his office is aware of reports regarding the tip that was provided to a group in Mexico. At this time, we have not been contacted by Mexican authorities. I mean, it'd be interesting if that really is a reality and like the person just sort of wanted the family to know where the body was. I doubt it, but yeah, that guy's just those people that whole crew are idiots, but people watch them. So I don't know. I don't know how they got so. Like everybody. Oh, I gotta go watch, and they're just. It's like almost embarrassing. That's why sometimes it's just like I don't even like the whole genre anymore, because the people who suck get like all the views. They don't even know what they're talking about. It's wild. It's unbelievable almost. Yeah, anyways, at this time we have not been contacted by the Mexican authorities, Nano said. Let's see. He added that investigation remains active and detectives will follow up on any credible information. Statements regarding information circulating online related to Nancy Guthrie investigation. Multiple reports have said an anonymous tip was made about an unmarked grave belonging to Guthrie south of the border. So I guess it is in Mexico, which is exactly the same place that original caller said. According to the New York Post, Biscondo Corazones said it received the tip on Wednesday. The group allegedly searched and found 25 unmarked graves. Wow, really? They went there and they found 25 unmarked graves, but did not find Guthrie. Okay, so they found 25 other bodies. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. According to the New York Post. Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie, was last seen in her home near Tucson on January 31st. That would have been at, earlier in the evening, I think 9:48 and 9:50. No, I mean, 9:48-ish is when she was dropped off. Banks Alley Cake. Where was that? Right. And then authorities have said they believe she was kidnapped, abducted, or otherwise taken against her will. Her blood was found outside her home. The Pima County Sheriff's Department has not held a live briefing since February 5th, and investigators are reportedly waiting on results from testing on DNA samples found inside her home. I mean, my God, how long do you have to wait for that? All that shit should be rushed. I mean, this is stupid. Yeah, and just crime in general, Mary. See, everybody always sort of relegates me to just the mapping element when I actually, the mapping and my theories are what are accurate, like based on all the information. So I put it all together, but mapping is sort of like what everybody always, oh, that gray guy, yeah, he's good with maps, blah, 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 blah. But why don't you compare the stuff that I say about what's going to be going on in a case compared to any other YouTuber out there that covers true crime, even the so-called, professionals, the ones that used to do this or that. Okay, you could try it. What are you talking about? Cindy. Let's focus. What? I don't know. There's all kinds of ways to get over the border. You know, she could have been in a trunk. You know, they didn't check it. Who knows? They smuggle drugs all the time. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard. People are smuggled over the border all the time. Yeah, the quote experts. I'm telling you, you guys, there's a whole YouTube channel the other day. They had 4 panelists, and they copied my mapping thing using Annie's and putting it inside where the, where all the cameras were and everything. They just copied the same thing. They needed a panelist of 4 to figure that out, and I did it all by myself on the show. You know, isn't that weird? Of course, I didn't have the fancy title because we just sort of came up with it during the show. I don't know. The family has offered a $1 million reward for information leading to an arrest. Okay. Got that. I'm just zipping through the... So this is the TMZ version. Anonymous tip sparks search for unmarked grave. But what they should be saying is how similar it is to what their tip was. Nancy Guthrie search efforts, reignited after a group that looks for missing people received an anonymous tip claiming the remains were buried in an unmarked grave in Mexico. A Mexican volunteer group that searches for missing people says they got the chilling tip Wednesday, and they scrambled folks to a remote area near the U.S.-Mexico border to try and locate her. Nancy was abducted in February from her home. This says, we are aware, this is from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. We are aware of reports regarding an anonymous tip related to the Nancy Guthrie investigation that was provided to a group in Mexico. At this time, we have not been contacted by Mexican authorities. The investigation remains active and ongoing, and we will continue to follow up on any credible information. I don't know if you guys are interested. Would you guys be interested in doing one of the, if we reach a certain number, we'll donate $500 tonight? It just seems so slow already that the odds of that are pretty slim. Hey, Karen said she'll do $10 if 2 of you, anybody gets up to 10. So if somebody does 10, she'll do 10. If 2 of you do 5, she'll do 10. If 5 of you do 2, she'll do 10. I was thinking if we got to I don't know, if we get to about 350 total, then I'll donate $500 to RAIN, which is Violence Against Women. What do you think of that? Which would be about $250 out of my pocket. And then, the income that came in from the 350 would be about $240. Okay. So, yeah, I'd be paying about $260. Anybody interested? Hey, thanks, Wild Bill Wassman. I guess we'll see. Not the greatest start in the world. People usually take off as soon as you try to do something worthwhile, Even with no sign of Nancy, the group which conducted the search with the help of the Sonora State Commission for the Search of Missing Person says it's not giving up and plans to return for more searches in the area. For now, the mystery remains unsolved, with Nancy still missing and her family continuing to offer a $1 million reward for answers. Yeah. So if you look at it, it's just crazy. It's like the straightest line you've ever seen. I mean, you take like Highway 19, it looks like, and it goes all the way down. I think it even goes past, yeah, right? It goes straight to Nogales right here. And then they're saying on, the south of the border. So somewhere over here somewhere. Hey, thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Wild Bill and Ali, for making it happen. Kissing face emoji.
I don't know what you're talking about, Cindy. Who's Ted? What do you? It's just you're always all over the place. Let's see. Yeah, thanks, Karen. Yeah, so I don't know. Is it out here somewhere? I mean, look at this. Of course, that's a place that you would. Yeah, there's no any street view or anything out there, but I mean, generally it would look something similar. Oh wow, that's a canyon. So I guess you can't see it from there, but I guess if we go right here, you could sort of see what it would generally look like out there. Yeah, more like that. Just out in the desert somewhere. I mean, apparently they went and searched. I don't know how they would know to search in an exact spot, All right, we're at 1/10 of that goal, you guys. So if we get to 350, I'll donate $500 to RAIN, which is Violence Against Women. We haven't given to them for a while. Thanks for all contributing. Thank you. Oh man, you already got Orlando. Jeez. That's that was the last time I was signed up for CrimeCon was when it was in Florida. Sort of like right after the pandemic or whatever, or sort of during it, or I can't remember exactly when it was. I didn't go to that one. Then I drove to the one in Vegas the last time. It'd be more cool, Cindy, if we could try to get to the goal so we could send the $500 in the RAIN. Wouldn't that be awesome? The Pima County Sheriff Department on Thursday said it has not been contacted by the Mexican authorities amid news reports that an anonymous tip had prompted a search effort for Nancy Guthrie south of the border. Let's see. So the head of the Sonora, or that group in Sonora, Mexico, said the collective received a tip that a grave belonging to Guthrie, 84 years old, may have been found. The tipster said searchers could find a body matching Guthrie's description in the Mariposa area near Nogales. Okay, let's see where that is. Okay, so Mariposa's north of the border. Okay, the border's right here. So I'm not sure what the hell they're talking about when they said south of the border. See, that's what I thought, that it was in the... I mean, I guess when you say Mariposa area, it could be... Hold on, let's see. Let's read this again. Head of something Nogales, Sonora, Mexico, said the collective received a tip that a grave belonging to Guthrie may have been found. The tipster said searchers could find a body matching Guthrie's description in the Mariposa area near Nogales, Sonora. So it is in Sonora, Mexico. 12 News reported. In a statement posted, why don't they just share the exact tip to people? Wouldn't that be better? In a statement posted on social media, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos said the department was aware of the reports regarding the anonymous tips. At this time we have not been contacted by Mexican authorities, he said. This investigation remains active and ongoing, and we will continue to follow up on any credible information. Guthrie vanished from her Tucson, Arizona home in February. Authorities have said they believed she was abducted, but there's no evidence that she was taken across the southern border. Well, but here's the thing. See, when they say that, there's also no evidence that she's taken anywhere that you're aware of. You know, so it's like, I don't know. I don't know how they can really discount anything, you know. Well, there's no evidence she went in the... Yeah, right. But there's also no evidence for you that she went anywhere. Because if you had that evidence, you'd know where she was, right? See, I think it's weird when they say stuff like that. Yes, we know that. You don't have any evidence that she went into Mexico, or you would have been looking in Mexico. But you also have no evidence that she was taken up in the mountains north. You don't have any information that she was taken west or east or anything. It seems like you have nothing. All right, did anybody hear what I said a few minutes ago? We're trying to get to 350 so that we can do $500 I'll send out to RAIN, which is Violence Against Women. You know, and it's sort of appropriate for this case, don't you think? Man, we're all the old freaks that we could just get that done, you know? Thanks, Karen. So that, you know, Nano said that they're aware of the reports. At this time, we have not been contacted by Mexican authorities, he said. This investigation remains active and ongoing, and we will continue to follow up on any credible information. Guthrie vanished from her Tucson, Arizona home in February. Authorities have said they believe she was abducted, but there is no evidence that she was taken across the border. Thanks again, Wild Bill Wassman. Nobody knows what that means, Cindy. Anyways, a doorbell camera video shows a masked man wearing gloves on the front steps of the home again. A home around the time of Guthrie's abduction. Yeah, we've seen that. Her back door was also propped open by the time police arrived hours later. Didn't they say the New York Post? So let's see. Hold on. Let me see what they said. Nance, that might be more in-depth. Okay. Did we do that one? Oh, I already did that one. I was up above. Because you would think they would call the sheriff's office if they found something. Hey, thanks, Allie Cake and Karen again. All right. Yeah, so her door was propped open. By the time police arrived hours later, prompting questions. Let me see. Let me grab this comment somebody sent me. A second. All right. I'm just going to save this out really quick. Anything else below there? No. Nah. Yeah, so apparently it's like over, probably over in this area, just like we were just looking at. I mean, that looks like, I mean, it's massive desert going off in that direction. Where, I mean, over here there is too. So, I mean, it could be either side, but it seems like they were talking about over here, somewhere, like let's say they cross over the border, take a right, drive out in this area, and, come over here somewhere and put her body. But, I mean, they didn't find anything. But were they really specific, like with GPS coordinates, etc.? I don't know. We don't know what the hell they got. I mean, how come there was people digging in the ground? How the hell would they know anything? Like these people right here. Okay, well, how did you know to dig there? And what? It almost looks like this is for show, doesn't it? I mean, what the hell is this right here? You got like a huge rock hammer, and you're just digging in the dirt. uh, I don't know, a pick. It just seems like, okay, if that was Nancy, it'd be it'd be a hell of a lot easier to dig in there, first of all, and it just seems bogus. Doesn't seem legit. Just seems like, hey, let's hurry up and take some pictures out there. We can probably get the news media. And I mean, what the hell is this? And they found 25 unmarked graves. Okay, well, what are you calling a grave? So you either found 25 bodies in the ground, or you're claiming something's a grave that isn't a grave, right? It's ridiculous. Does anybody put a 1 if you believe they found 25 unmarked graves with bodies in them? I mean, forget it. There's no way in hell that happened. Hey, look at that. We got another challenge attempt by Karen. She said she will do $15 if, any combination of the rest of you guys do 15. Well, I mean, if they don't have 25 bodies, then they didn't find 25 graves. I just think they're claiming things are unmarked grave. Like this thing right here, they're digging in. Oh, here's another unmarked grave. No, you dug a grave. It's not and it's true. You haven't marked it yet, and there's no body in it yet, but you dug that grave. Yeah, you see that? That's bogus. And look who it is again, you guys. Alley Cake and Wild Bill Wassman. Be so great if some of you guys would help them out. We're just trying to reach goals, do things over here. We try to make a difference as a YouTube channel. Our channel itself, the way we cover cases, makes a huge difference because we're basically the only people who go through cases using the facts and think through them reasonably with logic, reason, and common sense. Okay, that's it. And so not only do we do that, we've donated $297,000 since January of 2020. Okay? And that's out of the income from the channel and super chats and memberships, ad revenue, etc. that has come in. And of course, the channel, I make, like there's income that supports the channel itself, but we try to give away a lot. Okay.
Thank you so much. Kissing face emoji.
Well, thanks, Karen, for doing another challenge there. We are currently at about 1/4 of my challenge that I put in there. So if you guys get up to 350, let's see, we're about almost like a little over, more than 1/4, less than 1/4, like maybe in between 1/4 and 1/5. It could be, there isn't 25 bodies, Elena. I mean, to believe that they just went, they got a tip, and they went over there, and while looking for the tip, You know, the grave, they stumbled upon 25 unmarked graves. That is absurd, okay? There's just no way. Absolutely absurd. Well, let's see. I think there's some. We think we may have found Nancy Guthrie in an unmarked grave. Can you go check this area out? Well, we didn't find her, but we found 25 other bodies. Here you go. I mean, that's sort of similar to the Long Island serial killer. I mean, that's so rare, it's unbelievable. Hey, look at that. Wow, we've got Marty's Bar and Grill in here who said, if you guys do 5 gifted memberships, he'll donate $100 in coffee. That would be amazing. All right. So, I think what they're talking about is somewhere, you know, just right in this, I guess I would just say right here, right there. That's what they seem to be referring to. You know, maybe drive up this little road over here and just some crazy place right over the border. I don't know. I mean, it's weird. You know, it's interesting. If you zoom in, you don't see any cars of any kind anywhere. I hadn't even thought of ever doing that, but wouldn't that be crazy if you can just sort of zoom in? Because Google Earth is really high definition sometimes. Hey, you guys, let's see if we can do Marty's challenge. That'd be great. All right, we're actually a little like close to like a third, and thank you up there to Karen and Martian Bigfoot. You forgot to put in the Loch Ness Monster as well. Yeah, Marty has a challenge where we need 5 gifted memberships, and then he'll donate equivalent of 20 to the coffee fund. Yeah. Anybody see that? Yeah, Wild Bill Wassman saw that. Oh, you did that for mine. Okay. I don't know what that means. All right, let me show you what somebody sent me. I won't put their name in there, but they said like this. Is that if Nancy was home and alive when the back doors were opened and planters moved to hold the doors, I love how they say it in like it's a fact, you know. She would have heard or felt it. Nancy would have. I totally disagree. How do you know? How do you know Nancy way over there is going to feel or hear anything? She lived there for 50 years. She would hear the doors open or feel the air get up and walk towards them. Really? How would she feel the air? She's in her bedroom way at the other side of the home, in her room. How is she going to feel the air and get up and walk towards them, the people? So she'd get up and then walk towards them. So there, and it says, I'm beginning to think the perp went in when she left with Tommaso. Well, she didn't leave with, you mean when she left Tommaso's home? How would they know, though? Then she came home and saw the doors open and walked towards them to close them. So it's like she's in her home and then, I don't get it. So, and then it says the perp set it up to distract her. Set what up to distract her? The doors? Then the perp attacked, injected or disabled from behind. What a nightmare. How terrifying. And I said, yeah, if anything in that story that you just invented was true, it would be terrifying, but I'm sure what happened was also terrifying. I mean, does anything in that make sense to you at all? I just, where is the, you know, I don't get it. Hey, thanks, Alley Cake.
For Marty.
Do you get it? Is anybody paying attention to what we're saying in here? Thank you, Allie Cake. Yeah, we still need to get Marty's. I think we have 4 of them. We need 1 more for Marty's challenge. All right. It doesn't account for anything. I mean, this is just... If Nancy was home and alive when the back doors were opened and planters moved to hold the doors... So if Nancy was home and alive... So let's say, okay, see, she's at home. So that couldn't have been because she would have heard something, even though she can barely hear. And then she would have felt the wind in the house. She lived there for 50 years, so of course, just the slightest motion of a door opening, she would just wake up alert like a dog. She would hear the doors open or feel the air, get up and walk towards them. I'm beginning to... So, that means that can't be the way it was, that she was already home. I'm thinking the perp went in when she left with Tommaso. Now, when she says left with Tommaso, do you mean... When you're confusing Tommaso with the Uber driver and she took off to go to the house and then later, or are you saying when she left the house with Tommaso at Annie's house to go back home, well then how would that person know that she was going back home? Then she came home and saw the doors opened. So she came home, she was let into the house and Tommaso left. And then she saw the doors open in the back and walked towards them to close them. So this would be at like 9:52. The perp set it up to distract her. So they opened the doors on purpose to distract her when she's walking over there. Then the perp attacked, injected, or disabled from behind. What a nightmare. So then they waited for 3 hours. They injected her and... waited for 3 hours to get her out of there? And they stole nothing? No. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. That just doesn't make sense. But it's weird how I get these things from people and they say it with such conviction as if it's true. Like it's, she would have done this or she would have done that and... therefore, it's true. Man, thank you, Marty's Bar and Grill. All right, let's see. Did they get it? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, you guys did it. Thank you. All right, so currently we are at about 50% of the, if we get to 350, we'll send in $500 to Rain. So at least I think that'll put us over 298,000, which will be cool. So we need, we need a few more challenges in here, etc. I mean, it's interesting how that one road goes right from her, almost the house. I mean, so let's say you're right here, right? And then you drive out, and then you make it to this road right here. So you go bing, 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 and you get to here, you turn left, but it would have passed, if it went that way, it would have passed that one camera, but, there's other exits, not really convenient ones, though. Yeah, I don't know, it's pretty, let's just track it backwards. Okay, here's 15, or 19. Yeah, well, I guess, they could have made it, continued on with Annie's map over here and then came out somewhere over here and then turned. And that'd be hard to track that because it's so far away from the crime scene, you would have no way to associate it with it. Because as I showed the other day on my show, the route that Annie put out there avoids cameras or any cameras on the streets. Man, what's weird about our chat? It's just everybody, it's just all it is thank yous with nobody commenting on what we're talking about. I just read up there. Okay, thank you, 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 thank. Yeah, I'm just scrolling up. Do you guys have anything to say about what we're discussing? Yeah, so we've got the all these cameras right here, and then there's Annie's map. I sent her a message. She probably will never get it, but I sent her a message on Facebook hoping that she would reply. She hasn't apparently been on there for like 23 or 13 years or something, but I want to know how she came up with the map. Apparently she lives there in the area, so thought of it. But, she lives right there, so why did she add this part in? I think that law enforcement gave her information, and then she spread it out as if it was her own thought to the neighbors so that they could check. Because from her, people would be more likely to put in the time to look at it. But if law enforcement went around, people might be like, yeah, whatever, Mm-hmm. And that being said, I want to say thanks, as I've said every single time, but thank you, Karen. Thank you, Alley Kick. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Six Kids. Thank you, Wild Bill Wassman, Marty, Karen, and Martian Bigfoot, and everybody up before that. I don't know what you're talking about, Cindy. Nobody knows what you're referring to. You're always confused. You said something above that made no sense, just left as a sentence. But if you put it in a full sentence with corroborating information, it would be great. Nobody was mean to you, though. I can tell you that. Yeah. But we spent like an entire show going through this, trying to figure out, where all the cameras were. And that's before we plugged Annie's map in there. And then when we plugged Annie's map in, it avoided all the cameras. Oh, God, there goes Cindy again. Okay. Yeah, maybe if you'd stop being rude, Cindy, we could get along. All right. Did a challenge and Karen exceeded my PayPal. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, we could do it. I think I've done it before, but if you guys want to do it. So this is Annie's map. We could check, we can look to see if there's any cameras along the way that are obvious or are good candidates. All right, so here we go. We're going down the street here. So the red line is going to be the street view. We started doing this 2 days ago, and then we stopped, and we're doing maybe 3. I don't even remember. Maybe like 4 days ago. I mean, it seems like we were doing that before that trial, just before that. You know, so I'm telling you guys, this is the problem. The terrain, the way the homes are off the street, the bushes that are in front of the home. I mean, when you go up in the air, there's homes everywhere. You just can't see them. Now, let's see, go up here. And at the end of the street, would have turned left. And now this might be a place that if they had a camera, let's see. Yeah, this one, if it had a camera, this one would be a good one. This is one of the very few. Like if that happens to be a camera right there, that could have picked up a vehicle driving by at a time that they think makes sense. Which would be, you know, something like I'd say like 2:30, between like 2:32 and 2:40, something like that. And then, you know, what you wouldn't want is if that camera also picked, you know, if that had one, because what you want to have them is spread out. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if there's another one, but I mean that could be a camera right there. This is from November of 2025. This street view here is literally 2 months prior. All right, let's see. Yeah, we've already said all that, Cindy. Gone over that a lot. Let's see, right over here. Yeah, we've talked about how they would track back to, you know, you find a vehicle. I don't think they've been able to track any vehicle that drove by in that like a 7 or 8, 10-minute window back to anywhere. There's no, it's almost impossible. See, like, look at that. I mean, okay, there's a house there, but there's just not going to be, you'd have to have a miraculous shot. Not only that, it's so far away that the vehicle's going to, at night, it's going to be kind of pixelated. You might be able to say, okay, it's an SUV, looks like it's white, you know. I think I've been saying since the beginning, that law enforcement likely went around, got the surveillance footage from around the area, and were able to see motion, you know, through the trees, lights. You know, they know that that's the car based on the timing, and they can see it moving, and then they can find it on another camera just sort of through the trees, and then they lose it. Like there's a certain point where they don't have a camera that links. But they might be able, I mean, let me show you what I was talking about before, but let's just keep moving through here. Okay, where are we right here? Let's just stop at that purple line. Okay, we're right there at that purple line, the circle right there. Okay. So what I was saying is, let's say you have a camera. Let's say, just pretend that this house here has a beautiful camera on it, filming the street right over here, right? And let's say this house has a camera that films, and somehow they're able to tell, and maybe this house, all right? But so the car comes this direction, and they know it turned right, okay? And it obviously isn't going to go up somebody's driveway there, so it's going to go this direction, and then this house does not pick up the vehicle driving by. So you can just assume by deduction that it went this direction. And then let's say right down over in, like right there, this camera picks up a vehicle moving. So now they're like, okay, good. Our assumption was right. It went this way. There's another light from a vehicle. We can't see it. It's just through the trees though. And then it goes here. Now, based on the timing of it being there, they know within like 30 seconds or so, it should pass one of these other cameras that they know are showing the street, and it doesn't pass that one. So now they know that the car went up this direction. So then they keep trying to, that's how they would be doing this. They keep trying to find, and just by mapping it out and using common sense, logic, and reason, you can figure out the direction that the vehicle went. That's how they're going to do it. I don't think they have any really clear shots of anything, or they would have put that out already. I think a lot of it's just sort of a distance, a light through the trees. Unfortunately, however, you'd have to have a camera that is 24 hours, not motion activated. Most people have motion activated cameras. Most people who have cameras place them like right here, okay? You put it right there and you're just filming your garage. So you probably have the camera facing out like this, but it's aiming down. So you might see like partial car drive by at some point. It just depends. These people, nobody buys a surveillance camera to film the street, okay? They film your house, and the street's a byproduct of what you're filming. Like you're just like, oh wow, okay, cool, look at that. It's got the street there too. Now we can see the vehicle drive by. But nobody set up the camera originally. Very rare anyways. Do people set up a camera where the street is the object of what you're choosing to film. You're literally filming like your garage, your front door, your back door, your backyard, your side yard, etc., etc., etc. Hello? Yeah. All right, guys, we're having one of those massive lulls. It's going to be hard to hit the... we're trying to get to 350 tonight, so I'll donate $500 to Rain. Okay, so that would mean, it's 500 to make 500 on this channel. I have to bring $750 in. Okay, so I'm just trying to get 350, and then I'll donate $500 to Rain. So if there's any chance you guys could help support the channel so we can get there, that would be great. I mean, I just went through a whole thing explaining it and got 0 replies about how I just explained how this is how they can map it and go this direction and this direction, and this is how they'll know it went this direction. And all of a sudden I look in the chat and there's 0 related to that. So I don't know if you guys were listening or paying attention. I think it's pretty interesting though. Thanks, Wild Bill. Yeah. I know, you guys always say that. Oh, yeah, I was listening. Yeah. I don't think so. I really don't. I just feel like it's just like jabbering along. All right, I'm going to go back over to here now and continue on the Annie route from over here. There we go. No, you didn't. I looked. You said right, Karen, and get some street lights. That's what you said. I'm going to go over here. You're just playing your games at the same time. All right, okay. All right, so we're continue on. This is Annie's route right here. And let's see. Like I would imagine that a house like this, that's way more open with not as many bushes, when it turned here, easily could have filmed just something driving by if there's a camera. But again, see, then you got the trees and it's just not clear. There's almost nothing clear out here. That's just wide open house with the camera straight to the street. It wouldn't take a lot of time to get that done. I could do it in a day if I had the camera footage. Yeah, it would be very simple. Just give me all the surveillance footage. The way you would do it would be you'd plot out a map. I mean, this is really simple shit. You would plot out a map. What I would do if I was law enforcement What's going on here? Did it freeze? I think Google Earth just froze up on me. Yeah. Yeah, now when I open it again, it's going to say, hey, how do I... Yes, it'd be really simple to do. God, it's just so easy. I wish I could get in on it and just be part of a team, and boom, I would be able to do it. It just would be really simple. And I would start by narrowing it down, and I would have, like, you know, a few other people that are sort of the video guys, or, you know, hell, I could do it myself, but I'm just saying, what you would do is you'd come in here and you'd plot out each house that you got a camera from, and you'd put it on a map and say, okay, this is, you know, you have a little ledger over here that says, like, camera 1, and you have the address, but you have it plotted out, so it's just, you can see where each camera is, just like we did. See these little purple ones? Those are the street cameras. Some of these are actually cameras at homes that I saw, like these. So you could sit here and just put them on there, and then each time, every pin is indexed to a video. All right, and then all you have on the video is from, I would say, just to get moving on it originally, your first pass would be, I would go like 215, not even 220 to 245. That's it. That's all I want to see on the video. Just give me that for now. And then you start looking at it. Okay, there's a light there. We got that one. And you just keep moving around until you're stuck. And then if that doesn't really work, then you would have to expand it out to some more time on there. But you got to make it so that it's really simple to click on something, watch a video, and go, okay, boom, I've got it right here. And then you just start, you know, you got a camera there, you got one here, here, here. And you can, by deduction, eliminate where the car would have gone. I could do it. Yeah, just like Marty said. And thanks up there to Wild Bill Wassman, but we're still stuck at about, we're just, I don't know, you guys, not sure what happened there, but we were sort of on a roll there, and we never made it past the roll, so we're still trying to get to the 350 and to donate to RAIN. I don't know why all of them didn't start checking them as soon as they... Yeah, I'm sure I would bet you anything that law enforcement went around, canvassed the area, made sure that they got as much surveillance video as possible. I guarantee it. You know, I think they went everywhere, and I think people checked their surveillance. What needed to, you know, I'm sure this happened, but what I would have done was put, like, you know, find 50 or so people to just go and canvass the entire area, give them grids, and go to each house individually and ask them if they have surveillance footage. Every single house, regardless if it doesn't seem plausible or anything. Just so that you have a map of and a copy of the video of where every single place that there is a video on the map. And I would do it for basically, you know, the grid that I drew a long time ago. It's like right inside, right here, basically, right in there. I would just do it right in there. And I think they did something like that because remember when that video came out of a car who was right here? I think it was driving by right in this area. And everybody was really excited. I thought it was interesting, too, because it was right around the time that you would expect, but they immediately ruled it out. That's because they know, based on the limited video information that they have, that the video went in that direction. It went in that direction. It went west. All right, let me go back here. Massive lull alert, you guys. Massive lull. Yep, so this is where we were at a few minutes ago. And then it must have, Annie's route said that I don't know what the meaning of her route is. She just said, hey, if you're on this route, check your cameras. Well, why would anybody... That's why I think they gave her something they wanted. She was like, is there any way I can help at all? Yeah, look here's a route we were really interested in. Can you see if you can get the neighbors and so forth that live in this area to give us that route? And don't tell them that you got it from us. That's what I think happened. And so, that house likely has a surveillance camera on it. Now, that camera is probably filming the driveway area up there, and then maybe in the distant background, a vehicle can be detected. And then there's a house up there. Again, see how awful this is for, law enforcement tracking somebody? A neighborhoods, the standard neighborhood that people live in, those are amazing because everybody has the cameras. You can just keep watching the vehicle drive from one house to the next because they have a camera filming their garage, their driveway, and then there's the street right behind it. Hey, thanks, Marty, for the coffees. Very cool. And then I did get one from Sandy. All right. So I guess here's the thing. We need about 20 more gifted memberships, and then we'll have reached it. All right. That's it. That's not bad. All right, and then right at this intersection, see, this house here, I could see having a camera right above the garage there, and then it films out this direction. And so maybe right there, they can see that it turned, and they know it didn't go that way. So then, this is why they gave, this route is out there. I mean, why did Annie choose to go right there and not left? I mean, it just seems like somebody gave her this, even though she'll claim that isn't what it was. All right, there's Wild Bill. We eat 19 more now. Basing that on Marty and the coffees and Sandy. Okay, we're still on that double street here. We're just going on her route. So there's a house over there. And this one might be a good candidate just because it's got a little opening there, but at the same time, I mean, over here where the driveway is, what good is that going to do? Look. I mean, I don't know if that's a driveway. It looks like a street. So let's go up the street here. I guess this is sort of like a cul-de-sac, right? So he didn't drive up the cul-de-sac, so it's useless, right? Completely useless if that camera's filming the driveway, because it was up a cul-de-sac that he wouldn't have gone up, right? What was that? Okay. All right, what do we got in here then? How about if we get 9 more, even though we're only at 155 in here, If we get 9 more channel memberships that's in here, then we'll donate it. Yeah, yeah. There you go. I saw it, Marty. Thank you. Haven't linked it all together yet. Yeah. All right, we'll just do it now and hope. Okay, we'll do it now. And there's 500. 500 right there. I gotta fill this shit out. No, I don't want to. All right. All right, we're just sending it off. Did it work? Oh, wait. Does it say thank you? Your generosity support. Your gift will help. Oh, wait. I need my name. Oh, no. God, you gotta be kidding me. I don't know what it's saying. Almost there. Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. It's at the bottom. All right. I was like, what the hell's happening here? I didn't realize I had to scroll way down there. Okay. All right, so it came in. Here we go. Right there. See it on the screen right there? Here we go. And open it up, and it says, oh, well, there it is right there. Rain. You paid $500 to Rain. So there we go, everybody. We did it. It doesn't really pop up on the screen over here. See that? I don't know. Let me see. Let me open the one from Rain again, just because the trolls don't believe you if you show it to them. All right, so it's right there. Rain, June 11th, 2026, 500. It just happened. See? There you go. So thanks, guys. There we go. We got that, and then we're gonna do the. All right, we're gonna update our numbers now. The grand total is 298,112. And let's see, we also have this year 18,000. There we go. Pretty sweet. Rain. Violence against women. Thanks, freaks. And now, if you want to help support the channel, that'd be great. Yeah, we're really struggling on YouTube today. All right, let's go. Here we go. Yeah, you guys are talking about that other YouTuber who copied my work. Yeah, they had a little camera map. I don't know. Show me the map. Yeah, because there's enough coffee money was sent in. But YouTube is kind of like the general fund, you know. It's like we're way short. We're only at 150 on YouTube. So, you know, it's pretty bad. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're just going to keep on going on Annie's route here. Yeah, Marty, and then we had Sandy Shirley did a PayPal. But Marty made it work over there. So thank you, Marty's Bar and Grill, if you're out there. It'd be cool when we get to 300,000, you know. Yeah, I mean, again, so like this house easily could have a camera on its driveway right up there, but then how much of this, look how little this little sliver of space is. Yeah, it's just an absolute nightmare. I bet if you asked every single officer that's working the video portion of this case, they're gonna tell you that it is a nightmare. Okay, because this is. I mean, look at it. You go up in the air, right? And everything. It looks like they're. Oh wow, it's just nicely covered, but you know, from the street you can't see anything. But I just would really love to know how Annie came up with the map, because I think that would tell a lot. Let me just put a pin here for now, just so we don't lose where we were at. So if you're just new watching here, just check this thing out. See, I went around and each of these intersections I put a camera where there's a camera, and then where I could find cameras out here I put them, and you know each of these intersections have them. So we had already been working on this, and I thought it was pretty cool. Like, it just to sort of see, like, how could it have exited the area without being seen directly on a pretty high caliber camera? And then I remembered, oh yeah, that map that Annie had. So I thought, well, let me put that in here. And first of all, if you're just, watching right now, here's the house right here. And then I think I spent like over an hour, maybe 2 hours, from this house looking at the best routes to get to a main street, a bigger street, okay? So if you pay attention to this part, you'll find it interesting. If you're just kind of thinking of your own thing and, just kind of having a conversation about something totally unrelated, it won't be interesting. So you leave the house right here, and you can take that first right, okay? But that doesn't seem very easy to remember, to take a right and then go over here and then come around and then go up to there and go like that. So what we did was I put a pin every place where the exit point would be on the main roads. See, the main roads are the ones that are in yellow or a little thicker, like this one. You see that? But then you have these small roads that go around inside the neighborhood. So I put one there, and then you can see, you go down this direction, and then the ones in blue are where I think is a very logical place for it to have exited, meaning the easy route out. So imagine if you're right there, you turn left again, and let's see, where was that? Yeah, and then after you come down here, you just turn left again, and boom, you're right out on the street. So it got a blue pin there. This one was my original, like the easiest one. So here's the house right here. You pull out, and you all you'd have to do is remember to drive forward all the way to the T in the road, turn right, and then boom, you're right here out on the road. So you got this blue pin there. This one here is not simple, so that's why it's red. It's like, that doesn't make sense. That you would pull out here, turn right, then left, then remember to hit turn right there really quick, and now then you made it there. It's just not as easy in the darkness, like the late night, no street lights, anything like that. Now, you know, it's likely the person knows the area pretty well, but I don't know if, you know, people don't generally know every little side street and everything like that. You know the main streets, the easiest way to get around. People don't learn inconvenient ways to get around. All right, so we have blue, red, and then blue. And then this is red, obviously. I mean, who the hell's going to be, you know, this is stupid to come there. This one's red. There's where some cameras are, and there's a camera there. And then red again, and then blue here, because from the house, it's easy to remember to drive like this, come down, you take this right, and then I think it was left. No, where was that main? Yes, right here. So it's Annie's route, basically. So from right there, you go boom, take a right, then you make it to that double road, turn left, and head all the way down here, and then boom. But it comes out right where there's a camera. So that's likely not a place that they went. But here's what I thought was really interesting. Is like, again, I went through and I put red, didn't go out that one. That's ludicrous. This one's very difficult. Look how complicated that would be to go down here, up like this, boom, boom, come out there. So likely not that one. This one is also complicated. Here's that double road there. And then you have to remember to turn there and then come out right there. But then right there made a hell of a lot of sense, because you come down, and believe it or not, before I even saw her route, we had this one already mapped out as a very possible route, which is exactly the same. You'd come here. Even on the show, I went, okay, yeah, you come like this, turn right, you go up there, and then boom, come out right there. Isn't that weird? Like, we literally had that portion of the map mapped out before her map ever made it onto here, because this is a very likely spot to come out right there. Ah, jeez. Here we go again. Let's see if Jason gets if Jason gets his first demented troll tonight. Well, where are they? Who's going to be the troll? Come on, trolls. That's a good way to keep trolls from showing up. That's pretty good. Yeah. But hey, guys, if you could please help support the channel. I think I do good work over here. If you guys have the ability, that would be fantastic. We need some gifted memberships, etc. Why, Cindy? Why would I do that? I don't, that doesn't make any sense to me. Hey, Gray, have you ever gone back and rewatched your show using a phone? No. Why would I do that? All right here, the vehicle came out, and it's the blue pin right here. See that? And then Annie's map continues around, and that's kind of where I limited the blue pin. See, like here is Nancy Guthrie's home. I think the vehicle exited either here, 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 or here. Just 4 spots. Okay, well, then don't use your phone, for God's sakes. I mean, I don't think anybody, I mean, what do you have to do? Zoom in like, hey, everybody, now look, if you, it just doesn't work. Okay. I don't know how to present this on a cell phone. I mean, it's ludicrous. I guess that's why people just have their face stuck in the front and they don't present anything. They just talk. Yeah. No, it doesn't need to stretch its legs, Vic. It's been outside all damn day. Okay, go troll somewhere else. There's one for you, Jason. We got one. Vic's Wander. We got the troll. There you go. Poor Pooch needs to stretch its legs. Jesus, it's been running around outside all damn day. You don't have anything else for what? Yeah, well, that's too bad. I mean, how else does somebody else show you? Okay, let me try to do it where it's more zoomed in. How about if I go to, is it that one? Does that one work better? If I zoom in like this. Okay, look. Here is Nancy Guthrie's home right there. All right. Cell phone version. I mean, nobody else can presents it any other, you know, in a way that's easier for you. Yeah, Jason didn't jump in that one. We had a troll. Yeah, Vic's Wander's a troll. You could have not got that one. You can't have a bigger cursor on Google Earth. So anyways, here is Nancy's house. And then from Nancy's house, I figured out, you know, which... it just froze up again. Thank God. It's just... it's like Cindy's just a curse, you know? It just doesn't matter what she says. It's just... it's unreal. All right, let's see. Clear cache. Switch. Try it again. Let's see. I'm out. I'm out. I don't mean to interrupt your show every 5 minutes about how it doesn't work for me, Gray. All right, let's see. Let's see. Let me get down to the... down in here. Thank you, Dana Dane. Appreciate it. All right. So let's see if we can make a down here a version for Cindy. Okay, there's Nancy's house right there. You see this one right here. Can you? I don't know. I don't have a way to make Google Earth's cursor bigger, but there it is. Okay, then I put a red pin everywhere where I didn't think that was the most reasonable, easiest way to get out of there. Okay, so this pin, you'd have to turn right and make multiple turns. This here is very simple. You come right out of Nancy's home, you turn right, you drive around, and then once you get to the T in the road, you turn right, and it goes right out to the main road, and you can go north or south. All right, so that does have a blue pin. The next blue one is down here, because that's very easy too. So from Nancy's home, you drive over here, turn left, and then you come down, I think it was, yeah, right. You just drive straight after you turn left and then take the next left, and that goes right to the main road again. So that's blue, right? That's red. Red, these are all incredibly unlikely to come out on. That one's red, very unlikely, incredibly unlikely. This one is very possible because all you have to do is drive, and then when you come down here, you turn right and you go to the double road, and then you go south down like this. Actually, this road right here. It's the same one that's in Annie's. You come right here to the double road, and then you go down south, and you just follow that all the way to coming out there, and that's where a camera is located. All right? Then there's this one over here. This one matches Annie's location. So there's a red one there. Not likely at all. Not likely at all. Very likely. Or, you know, much more likely, I guess. and then not there, not here, not here, and then there's a camera up there again. So, and then what these are is just that you wouldn't come out onto the road there. So see how this is blue, right? So that's from Annie's house, Nancy's home, to right there. That's exactly what she had on her map, is where this one is. So now it almost seems like that's probably out of the, these four, this is probably the one that they think they took. You know? That's what I think. Yeah, you cost me some coffees there, Jason. There was a troll that was in here, and that's what the challenge was by Marty. Gotta get ready to go. Even if the camera caught a car, chances are, well, we don't know that. I don't think there's a good chance at all that it was stolen, to be honest with you. You know why? Because he disconnected the camera to make sure that their car wasn't seen. If it was stolen, why would they care? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So where were we? I guess we were. I lost the pin when it froze up. So I think we have to go back down to in here somewhere. You believe it? Yeah.
Don't worry, Jason, I believe in you. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Alright. Yeah, I think we were sort of around in this area. This is Annie's route that we're on right here. Alright guys, if you could please help support the channel tonight. We need gifted memberships, etc. We've already donated 500 tonight, but the YouTube side is woefully short. Alright, so this is a main street out here. This is one of the main ones, but notice how there's no cameras here, right? See, it's weird how her route is so perfect for avoiding every single camera. And see, that's why I think law enforcement gave it to her. And they want to see if there's anybody with cameras on that specific route, because they think that the person may have gone that way because of lack of visibility on various cameras. Yeah, I could just get the distance and tell you. Yeah, it's easy. But what does it matter? It didn't go to Annie's house. It didn't go to Annie's house. Yeah, it takes like 10 minutes. We've done it before. That's why I tell people when 9:48 the garage door opens, that means they left at 9:38. But see, notice how this whole road here, there's no cameras anywhere, right? There isn't a damn camera. It, uh, right. Well, okay, you didn't say but originally thought you were talking about the map. Okay, but then I saw you say the word Annie in there. Yeah, it just doesn't matter. It's going to be like 10 minutes. It's the same thing. So this is where it goes north on this road here. All right. Well, they were eating food, weren't they, the dogs? Oh, yeah, so she was, okay. All right, so here's where it turned, right here on Ruddisill Road. I don't think it's the route she thinks they took. I think it's the route that the cops think they took, and she put it out there to get surveillance footage from neighbors from her, thinking that neighbors would respond to her more than cops. I think they told her, hey, she said, hey, is there any way I can help at all? And they go, yeah, well, we want surveillance on this area. We're interested in this route right here. I really highly doubt Annie came up with a route. Okay? That just doesn't make any sense. So I don't agree with you there. I know she said she made it. I don't believe it. That's what they told her to say. They just said, yeah, just don't tell them that you got it from us. She probably looked at what they had, drew it out. There's just no way in hell she knew how to make a map. How would she know that? That just doesn't make any sense. To me, it means that based on the surveillance footage that they've got, they can tell that the vehicle went sort of in that general direction, and they need more cameras on that route because it avoids all cameras. Yeah, I think that they said, "Hey, Annie, listen, we need." She said, "Is there anything I can do to help?" And they were like, "Well, I tell you what, if you can get people to, we need more surveillance footage in this area right here, but just see if you can get it, and don't say that we gave it to you because they don't want to make it look like, just giving up like information from the case." And it could have even been based on a conversation too, like, hey, well, this is what we're kind of wondering about this area here because we didn't see him on any of these cameras. So she came up with the map based on what she was told. But look at this. This whole route is horrible for being able to be followed. Right. You want to pretend that she's a criminal putting out her own map. That's ludicrous. Forget it. All right, let's see. We're going this direction right here. All right, guys, any chance you could help support the channel in here? Or just struggling on YouTube. Yeah, so in here, I wonder if any of these cameras pick something up. Yeah, you would think that house would have something on it, and it's wide open. And then all of these, see, this is getting more open over here. So they may have picked up a type of vehicle driving around right over here. I've actually seen people believe that Annie put out the map because they're the ones that did it. It's like, really? So you put out a map? Here's my map I used. That's ridiculous. What a better way to make it look like you weren't involved. Because who would do something that stupid? Yeah, so that one would have a camera on it, probably. You would think. But if there is one, it's just probably filming right by the front door there, and maybe a background camera. Yeah, I don't. I don't think she had anything to do with it. And we know, you know how we know that? Because Savannah was hugging both her and Tommaso at that sort of that vigil thing when she showed up at the memorial at the house, and she had her arms around him and everything. If they were even remotely considered part of the case, you wouldn't see that. But Savannah's an actor, Gray. Hey, RK Racing, if you want to sell conspiracy bullshit, go somewhere else, okay? I'm not doing it in here. We don't do it here. If you want to go sell it, it's just not the right place. You seem like you're just really pushing on that, trying to get somebody. Nobody's going to agree, okay? It's embarrassing. All right, let's see. We're going to come around the corner here. And right there. Yeah, that might have something on there. Don't know. It is a conspiracy. It is, yeah. Yeah, so we went over all that stuff at the beginning. I remember law enforcement was looking into them at first because it's like, well, you're the last person to see him. And it turned out that wasn't the case. Well, you are, though. RK Riz, I can see by your comments. You're passively trying to do it. Don't pretend we're not stupid people, you know. Let's see. All right. Yeah. I could have one right up there. There was some sort of a little spot right there. I don't know if that's a camera or... Yeah, I thought maybe, everybody thought maybe, Tommaso or something at the beginning, but they cleared him, and Savannah, and they would tell Savannah. That's not all you're saying. You're saying, well, there's one way she'd know, because she was the one who, it's just obvious, man. We're not dumb. And if somehow at the very end there is some kind of a hired situation by one of them, then that's different, okay? But it doesn't mean they weren't the ones. I don't think that's the case, though. I think if it was hired, you wouldn't have a guy strolling around in the front of the house with a backpack. He would have been able to get right into the house, do something, and get the hell out of there. And they likely would have wanted to keep her body there, you know, because they would have been doing it to get a like inheritance. So you would just have somebody kill her and leave, and not be able to prove who the person was, and then eventually you would get your money. But now there's just a missing person, and then that takes years and years and years for the insurance company, if there is a life insurance, to then, or even anything, because you have to prove that they're not alive. Yeah, or keep going. What does that mean? Where's the side utility access road? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if she knew somehow RK Racing would be from talking to law enforcement, you know? All right, guys, any chance you could help support the channel? I'm sure you've noticed the massive lulls in here. Yes, this area in this, you know, out here is much more open, where cameras may pick something up. But in the neighborhood that she lives in, and yeah, quarter-mile radius, man, it's impossible. So right around in here, yeah, there'd be all kinds of, you know, cameras. I don't know if they. It doesn't seem like they got anything from over here. What are you talking about? Quinn the Golden. That doesn't even... he's not a prime suspect, you know? I don't get it, man. You know, we use logic, reason, and common sense on this channel. A lot of times that's missing from people. Yeah, so this is like at the end. This is just where she had it go, right here. No, that's all. Man, I was only right there. Jeez. I guess I have to keep going. So we did that one, and we were right there, and then I guess turn left here. I didn't need to go up that straightaway. But yeah, I mean, this area is totally different. Like, these are homes right on the road, cameras all over the place. I just don't know, you know, how this was derived. And then it ends right there. Annie lives right here. So, you know, I'm not sure how she came up with that. I mean, do they think they... Because there is a camera here. So if they came out there, they could have turned right and missed it. And there is no camera right here on this intersection. Or is there? Oh, maybe I didn't put one on this one. Yeah, that looks like a camera. All right, well, we'll put one on that one. Oh, that's right. Shoot. There it goes again. Okay. All right. So there's another spot there. Yeah. So yeah, it's weird. I think that they know. They probably know every camera that had something driving by it between 220 and 245 and or not 220, 230 and 245, and they don't see it on many cameras or any of them. So they know that the person maybe got out of the area off of the main road, so they must know the area. Hey, Marty's got another challenge. He said, if we can get another 5 gifted memberships, let's see, $50 coffee if we get 5 gifted memberships to be converted to 100 coffees. $100 coffee. If 3 of the 5 are names I haven't seen in months. All right, guys. So if 3 of you out of the 5 gifted memberships are people that haven't gifted anything to my channel in months, then he'll actually boost it up. Okay? So that's a pretty cool challenge there. You know, any of you guys, you know. I don't want to start naming names, but there's a lot of you that have never seen you support the channel at all, and we do a lot of great things here. So if 3 of the 5 are people that haven't donated in a long time, then that would be great. Or maybe not, doesn't have to be like, you know, I'm just talking about like there's these same people that are helping, like there's Wild Bill again. See, like he helps out like every single day. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to, but he does. It's amazing. You know, I'm sure there'll be days where he can't help out, but it's like, you know, we got to get the ball rolling here. I mean, back in the day, I don't know, man. Well, we'll see. But one of these days, maybe we'll get the channel back up. There's just, right now, there's no cases that really kind of utilize all of my skills that much. This one does, but we have so little information out. See, it's kind of interesting looking at here. See the little red dots going around? Well, you can't see those, right? Because it's so small. But see, that's the immediate area that I was saying getting out of, and there's only 4 blue spots where it would be likely that they left out of about 15. So there's Wild Bill. Now we need 4 more, you guys. Why does it just stop right after Wild Bill? Right, Quentin. Sure, Quentin. Yeah. Okay. You probably should be not here and doing something else to try to make sure that doesn't happen. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully. It just never happens. It's crazy. All right. So what I'll do here in a minute, I'll just go right back over the whole damn thing again. Using the... I guess we could put this out there. You know, that's pretty good. We've got the timeline. Heck is that right there? Got it all. Sweet. Thanks, Karen. Get to the membership. Anyways, I'm going to go use the restroom. I'll be back in a second. Yeah. But I thought I'd come back and we'd see we made it to the challenge, and we didn't. Hey, but we got one from Six Kids UK. That's good. I was talking to my wife for a minute. She took mom and dad to go get new cell phones, and mom was. It's just the whole thing's a nightmare. Yeah, you know. He doesn't remember stuff, and just goes on and on and on. We need 2 more up there, you guys. 2 more. 2 more gifted memberships, and then we'll get going on this. So we need 2 more from people that don't normally support the channel that much. You know, like PK Sews It Up, or just anybody. Okay? Because he's going to double it if 2 more people that normally don't support the channel support the channel. Okay? Well, Karen doesn't count. But thanks, Karen. You enjoy me taking bathroom breaks. So you like it when I'm gone? Is what you're saying? Wow. That's mean. Yeah, for what, Millsteller? I mean, what did they just do for you to make you say that? I mean, just now, what did they do for you? Because I noticed you haven't made one other comment other than that one. So what was it that they did that you're tonight that you're thanking them for? And we thank them all the time. Let's see. I always get suspicious of people like that. You know, that they make no comments at all, and then they throw that something. Because that's when I go to the bathroom, and that's one place you're not allowed. So when I go to the bathroom, you get to go to the bathroom, is what you're saying? Yeah. Well, I don't, it doesn't look like, Marty, that they're going to do it. Okay. So here we go. Let's just go through this. All right. So at 5:32 in the evening, Nancy travels to her Annie and Tommaso's house. So what she did was she drove from right here, probably went a similar route to Annie's route, although up here you could just drive straight, turn left, and then go here and then go to Annie's home. She took an Uber there, and so she probably left her house at about 5. Well, she left her house at 5:32, and she got there at 5:42. And then she had dinner. She, played mahjong, whatever the hell, and then left the house at 9:38, because again it takes 10 minutes to drive. So leaves there at 9:38. And then, drives back the same way probably. And then when they got here,
Geezers versus technology is a constant battle for me.
they pulled it, Tommaso pulled in like this, drove right into there, and then pulled up right in front of the garage. Now, it just so happens on this 3D view, the garage door is open. So when they pulled up right there, Tommaso helped Nancy into the home. And then if we look at this map right here, it's really not the greatest in the world, but Where's the other one? The other one's better, I think. I think it's this one. Yeah, so the yeah, let me rotate it around. No, that's not it. It's like this. Right. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, so if we went like on Google Earth and we were like this, I think that's it. See that? It's exactly the same. So you got even the little nook right there is right here. Okay, so after pulling up, and they'd be right there, there's a door right here, and then that door would have been open, and then Nancy walks into the home wherever the hell she went, right? And then Tommaso then would come back out the garage. So it opened up at 9:48 and then it closed at 9:50. So that's just absolutely makes sense, right? 2 minutes, to open the garage door, to then drop Nancy off, who probably doesn't walk very fast, then turns around, and then the garage door shuts at 9:50 when Tommaso's leaving. And then Tommaso takes off. So Nancy's at home, and probably around. I mean, since she got home at 9:50, I don't know. I imagine maybe she sat down for a minute, But I would say by 10:30, she's probably getting ready for bed, at the latest. Maybe even just immediately when she got home. Let's just say by 10:15, she was getting ready for bed. And then by 10:30, she's likely in bed. Maybe she's reading or watching TV for a little bit. And then she's probably asleep by 11, I would say. She took her watch off. She put her cell phone down next to her. And at this time, her pacemaker is communicating with the device in the house that keeps track of her heart rate, etc. The cell phone app that she has also communicates with the device, but it doesn't send any signals out anywhere. It's just the device that's in the house on Wi-Fi that sends signals out to the doctor or whoever it is. But her cell phone is just sort of like something that doesn't send it out. But there's an app on the cell phone that communicates with the same device. I think that's how it works. And, so she's sleeping at 11 and she's just still sleeping. And like I said, her phone and watch are sitting on a counter and she's sleeping. And the monitor is monitoring her heart rate. All right. Then, sometime, and there's a whole bunch of different theories. We've gone over them ad nauseum. I don't want to keep going over them. There's so many of them. We have this image right here. Now, this is interesting because the person's coming from the left part of the screen. So what that means is, if you're looking down here, they came from right over here. Now, what does that mean? Who knows what the hell that means? They could have actually walked right over here, looked in this window, and came back around, and then it would look like that. We don't know. Okay, but you can sit there and theorize all day long that it went over. Oh, he went over to the other camera and he went over here, and that's just pure speculation. There's no logic that tells you anything other than that. All we know is he's just stepping this direction. That's it. There's no other indications that can allow you to speculate that he was over there doing something. Because nothing else has been triggered. There is no other information at all. And when people doing that is a waste of time. All right. So we don't know what he was doing. He could have been looking in the window over there. He could have been sitting on the ground playing mahjong. We don't know. So we see him go around, and then he enters into the scene here. So I guess we play it. And here he comes, kind of looking down. He doesn't seem to give a damn at all that he knows he's on camera, you know, this whole time. He knows he's on camera. I mean, it seems like he's a little bit like, you know, not necessarily always having his face right on it or something. And then right now, he's putting his hand on the camera itself so if you zoom out, the doorknob's over here. So he's not touching the doorknob. He's trying to take the camera off right now. Okay? So I am assuming, and I think it's a very logical assumption, that at 147 right here, the doorbell camera is disconnected. You see that? That's exactly what he's doing right here. I think this is within a minute or two of that camera being removed. So first he tries to get it off. He's got these sort of surgical-ish type gloves on. And he's trying to take it off, but he isn't able. Well, he could do it. He just doesn't. I think he's concerned that he might rip the gloves that he's wearing. So then he's like, oh, let me see, because it's really easy for him. He's totally casual. This guy doesn't give a shit about anything. Just, you know, ho-hum. You know, you'd almost hear him whistling. And let's see. Then he bends down, picks up a weed, and now look at, he curves it into like an arc. Watch. Right now. You see that? He's bending it right there. You see that? Right there, he's bending it. And then he walks over, and we don't get to see that portion because I think that's one of the parts that maybe was written over. And then he's putting it on there, and right there he's doing the same thing. See that? See what he's doing right there? He's curving it into the arc again. We just don't see his right hand. Do you see that? So we go back a little bit. Right there he's bending it. See that? You can see it. He does the exact same thing. Now watch, you'll see this on another YouTube channel coming up soon. They like to watch and then copy and pretend. So let's see. I'm going to move it forward. And then right there, he's bending it exactly into the same arch. His right hand, you can see the shape of it curving out. And then he puts it on it. And now he's trying to, you know, I'm not sure. I think his right hand is off to the right, still holding it. And then this light over here is not a light. That's just, see how bright this is? This is as bright as you can get on a video. It's as bright as you can get. That's exactly what this is right here. It just means it's right next to the camera. And all that is right there is another piece of the same plant. And it's just moving around. All right? You can even see it. Watch it. Like it's just right on the camera, and then it's really bright. We also see that he might have a walkie-talkie on him. And you can sort of see this thing sticking up right there, and then I think there might be just like right in there somewhere. Let me see. Yeah, right there. You can see that. Now, if it turns out that is a walkie-talkie, and it's like 100% that's a walkie-talkie, then there's likely maybe somebody that's driving the vehicle. Okay, but the only reason that he's removing this light right now is because in a few minutes, a car is going to be pulling up right there. And when I say a few minutes, I mean like 40 minutes. All right, so he removes the camera. And then after he removes the camera, he exits, and then he waits somewhere, you know, maybe just right in the general area. He has his backpack, so for me it's like, well, then you're probably not going to go back to your car. I always thought maybe he went back to his car. If he does move his car, you know, during this time frame, then, you know, that means he would take his backpack off, get into his car, and move it over there. But he waits about 20 minutes or so. So it's 1:47. And by the way, you guys, we never reached Marty's goal up there. Is there any chance, you guys? We just needed 2 more gifted memberships to reach Marty's goal. And I'm just trying to figure out why it's just so hard these days for something so simple So if you guys have the ability there, that would be great. So the vehicle, if there is a vehicle parked, one of the places I think maybe right there. So 147, maybe he wanders over there and he waits for 20 minutes to see if cops will show up because he has removed a camera. So that would have set off an alarm or a notification of some sort. He thought, he didn't know that she didn't pay her bill. Okay, so he waits about 20 minutes and then right around like 2:07-ish, whether or not he was hanging out over here and there's somebody else driving the vehicle that he radios later. If there's another person, that makes it a way less time that the car has to park right there, because that means they could pull up right when you're about to remove Nancy from the home. If not, you might park the car here. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different options, because he could have even went into the house at, like we've talked about many times. So let's say 2:07, he goes back over here. And then he goes around and he props open the door, and then he goes in and he ties up Nancy inside the house. He ties her up so she cannot leave, and he puts something over her mouth or something. Then he goes and gets the car. He pulls it up, and now he's going to take her out. So he's going to do it all by himself, but he does it in a quick fashion, okay? So that's what I'm saying. It's like that's definitely one of the options that he could easily, at 2:07, walked around the back, jumped over. We also have to keep in mind that there is, after the 147 at 2:12, software detects a person on camera, but there's no video available because they didn't pay their subscription. All right, so the Sheriff Nanos said, well, it also could have been an animal, which accidentally gave away that the camera is outside, because nobody in their right mind would even think of an animal had the camera been inside. So we know that's an outdoor camera. There is a camera right there, and there is a camera right here. That little nodule that sticks out right there, that is a camera. There is the same exact camera. That little darkness that you see right there is actually a solar panel. Just like the darkness right there, that's a solar panel for those two cameras. So we know at, let's see, at 2:12, software detects a person. I think 2:12 is about the time the person entered the house originally. And it could be that, they made a quick entrance into the home, tied up, confronted Nancy. It might have looked something like this, He goes into her room. She's laying there, just like that. Then she wakes up to him, and, he confronts her. Then he ties her up. And after he ties her up, maybe puts duct tape on her, makes sure she can't leave. Then maybe he props open the back door at that point, and he props open the gate over here. I guess it's also, but we already know that he removed the camera because he's going to be parking up front. So he might have propped those open for an escape, for the potential that when he's removing Nancy, that if a car pulled up, he could bolt back through the house, out the back door, and hop over the fence, or go to his right and get out the side over there, okay? Doesn't that make sense? So it's at 2:12, that's likely the time he entered the home, and then let's just throw it out there, like the theory that kind of makes sense if you want to have the least amount of time with the car in front of the home, is that after entering the house, he makes his way over to Nancy, probably 2:15-ish, ties her up. She's probably completely tied up and under control by like 2:17. Then at that point, he can go out the front door, makes his way over to the car, wherever he has it parked, pulls it up by like I don't know, 2:24 or so. I mean, let's just say he's out of the house by 2:17, and then 2:24 he has the car parked right there. He drives it back to here, goes back through the front door, and now he gets Nancy, and then walks her towards the door, and for whatever reason we don't know, has a broken, like a, not broken anything, but just her nose is bleeding. We don't know why it's bleeding. It doesn't seem like it's some horrendously grievous wound or anything. It just looks like a dripping, bloody nose. Okay. And so let's say he gets back to her room by like 2:25 or so. And then he starts moving her outside. And then we know at 2:28, she's over 30 feet away from her, 2:28 away from, over 30 feet from the pacemaker device in her room. Because you need to be within 10 to 30 feet. I'm sure it might work at 35, whatever. But at 2:28, her body is far enough away from the pacemaker that it stopped communicating. The Bluetooth inside of her body stopped communicating with the pacemaker machine, the receiver, whatever the hell you want to call it. All right? And so that right at that time, he's moving her to the vehicle that he had just parked 4 minutes before outside, and he walks her down the path, and maybe that looks something like this, right? Like here she is coming out the door. She's coughing. She expirates blood on the ground. And then he, like right there, maybe expiration of blood. Maybe her head's bent over more. And there's some drips of blood coming out. Then they walk, and look, there's a car parked right where I said it would be parked. And then just kind of makes their way out down like this. Now, if there's a secondary person, maybe it was like that. That person pulls up, and then this person's right there, and they help put her into the vehicle, right? So there you go. And so that would be at 2:28 when the pacemaker stopped. You're exiting the door. You walk down the little path there. She gets put into the vehicle, and then it drives away. Then we know the next morning at 11:56, after Nancy didn't show up to the scheduled church service that her sister has, the streaming version of it, in New York, she didn't show up at the house that was hosting it that weekend. They called Annie, and then Annie and Tommaso drove over to her house, and after being there for 7 minutes, called 911. And then 12 minutes after that, law enforcement showed up. Well, there's Wild Bill Wassman. Again. Thanks, Wild Bill. And thanks, Marty's Bar and Grill. Too bad we didn't get the people. All we needed was 3 people who don't normally support the channel, and he would have doubled it up. Thanks, you guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Anyways, so we got the... So after that, you got to just wonder, which way they went. And so based on how we have it mapped out here, they either left through this one, this one, this one, or this area right there. I mean, I actually have 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one here gets you to this highway quick. And then maybe you do head down south to this Sonora area. Who the hell knows, right? But you have these different ones. I have one of my blue pins matches Annie's route. It's right there. I have tons and tons of red pins that I put out. But the blue one is exactly where she had it. So there you go. He did what? Yeah, Marty did, yeah. He didn't do the. It wasn't a double up though. We needed to have three people that you don't see their names pop up very often, and that didn't happen. Maybe they didn't want to admit that they weren't people. Maybe that's what it was. You know, I don't know. Anyways, thank you, Marty's Bar and Grill. Let's see. All right, does that all make sense, everybody? I think that made sense. Where did it go after that? Look at all of these cameras. Oh yeah, and by the way, when they had that video of the car driving, I think it's right here. Remember this? Yeah, it's actually right there. I think I remember this. I think it was right here. A car was driving by here, and they immediately ruled that out because they know that the vehicle didn't go east. I guarantee you that that's exactly right. They believe that the vehicle did not go east. And so that means you can sort of eliminate this whole area over here. And then we sort of have to wonder how the hell it got out of the area without touching or driving by any of these cameras right here. How'd that happen? You know, and it's weird because Annie's route, I think it's a route that police said, hey, can you see if you can get some surveillance? Doesn't touch anything. Even when it comes out there, I don't know why it pulls into this, lot, how she has it like that, but there is a camera there, but that's too far away to film anything coming out there. But every other angle, look at that, too far away from a camera there. Up here, there's no cameras. There's one way down there. And it's almost like it was intentionally, like she was told, it avoided all the cameras. Something like that is how that map was generated. Yeah, Wild Bill they really is. Like there's nights where it's just so bad, and Marty and Wild Bill Wassman will just send in, here's one, and it's just sort of, it's something. It's just so weird how it's not like it used to be, where I had a whole community. I would do the shows, you guys support the channel, and we were just kicking ass out there. One year we gave $63,000 to true crime related charities. But right now I gotta just tell you, I think one of the biggest issues is there isn't really a case that's that big, like this is pretty big, but it's also dead too. Like there isn't a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could talk about, but it's just, there isn't any information. But like when we did Coburger, Delphi, there's always something happening where you could talk about the case. What's amazing about Delphi? If you go back to the original shows, we had that case nailed from the beginning. Just not the who, but the exact, what happened and everything. I mean, it was amazing, right? That's the crazy part. It's we put it all together with just nothing. There was no probable cause documents or anything. It was really based on a video. And see, remember how, and I hadn't even thought of this till just now, but do you guys remember when, Robert Ives, the prosecutor, somebody on Facebook in the police department, because I posted my theory on there, they gave it to Robert Ives, the prosecutor. Then he got a hold of me on a video, and then I contacted him. And he was actually saying, hey, we might want to hire you to make something similar if it goes to trial, but we could provide you with more accurate information. See, what's interesting about that is just using logic and common sense based on, here's the surveillance. Once I knew exactly, the girls were dropped off here, that means they walked down the path and they made it to the bridge, And now, because of that one forked tree, we know that they crossed here, and then we knew where the bodies were found, and then we see this shallow portion of the stream, that's how they were forced to walk across that and up there. And so that never changed. Do you guys notice that? Like, that never changed the entire time. From the first week of the case, I had the correct flow of the crime, if you will. And it never changed. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys think that, but I think it's pretty damn cool. I think it's like, that's what we do here, man. Logic, reason, common sense wins the day. Yeah, Alley Cake too. I mean, it's like Alley Cake and Wild Bill Wassman are always helping. And then I know some of the rest of you help when you can. And I don't want anybody to be like broke because they're, or even suffering by supporting my channel. Okay, if you can afford to support the channel, and maybe there's other times where you can and can't, then that'd be great. But that's just that's how we do it over here. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. I just try every night to reach goals so that we can do something, So at least, hey, tonight we gave 500 out. That's we got that in the bag. We'll see. This month is already worse than last month. Amazingly, I mean, it's not. I guess it is less than last month. So we'll just have to see how it goes at the end of the month. But if we can do another 2,000, let's say, then we'll have reached 300,000. That'd be pretty sweet. Anyways, looks like you guys are all falling asleep on me, so I'm going to get the hell out of here. We know that, Nancy's room is right over here. This is the deck. Her bed's like right there. That back door that was open is right there. And then the gate is, that would have been like right over here. Yeah, actually, right there. That's where the gate would be. Yeah. So Nancy's room's right there. Her bed, she was probably sleeping right here. The front door is right here. You go through the arc and then walk. Maybe it's like right in there. It's hard to. It doesn't. I don't know if it goes all the way back. I think it might though, where that line is. And then you see there's even a slider. Well, let's see. That's interesting. So you go through there and there's a little bit of a... So there must be, when you go inside, a wall here and a wall there. Because when you come in and you turn left, you can see this fireplace, and then there's a slider that goes out to this deck here. Then there's another slider there that goes into Nancy's room. And then Nancy's bed is like right there. And then we also know that when you come through the garage right here, there's a mahjong table. That table they played mahjong on is right there. There's a window that looks outside. Then if you go around to the left, there's a dining room that's right here. So like when you come in, that window right there is the dining room. So when you come in, there must be a wall. The wall to the right is part of the dining room wall. And then when you come in, you can turn right and go into the dining room. Then there's a kitchen right over here. The door that was propped open is right there. Like right underneath there, right in there. And then this gate was propped open. Pretty crazy. Yeah. But anyways, thanks everybody that can and does help. I really appreciate it. I don't know how to get YouTube to It seems like sometimes we do better and sometimes we don't. We just need to have a case where because I think when I put stuff together in cases, it's the best. I mean, I'm not trying to be like somebody's got to speak for me. I just feel like we put it together in a way better than the ex-detectives and whatnot. They just ruminate and bullshit all day long. What we do is we literally put the factual elements together, which they all end up copying. It's incredible. Like, hey, guess what, man? Apparently, they removed the camera so that the car wasn't seen parked there. Yeah, we've said that since day one. Thanks, though. Yeah. Hey, let me, before we go here, how about if I just do a little quick, that case that I was telling you about, the cold case that we're going to start looking at a little bit, which will, kill the channel again, but they're important. Yeah, the Sadie Theone Davis. See, we covered that one 4 years ago, but I didn't have Sadie on there. I had Theone Davis. It's this lady right here. See this lady? You guys probably even recognize that because I remember putting that on the screen, but this was 2022. Yeah, see, I put the folder in there from 2022. All right, so I'll just give you like the basic stuff here, and then I actually was sent all like the narrative and autopsy and everything. So this is the house right here. And then, let's see, let me just throw this in there. It said, daylight burglar may have killed woman. The brutal, senseless slaying of a prominent Huntington Park woman was a result of her surprising a daylight burglar, they said burglar, in her home, police speculate. Huntington Park Police said Miss Theone Davis, wife of Chamber of Commerce President Ted Davis, Chamber of Commerce President, was slain sometime Thursday afternoon. Police Chief C. Henry Furtick said Miss Davis was found in a bedroom of the home located on the northwest corner of Marconi and Saturn by her husband when he came home from work at about 5:30 p.m. Now, this is one of those classic cases where people would start assuming that it was the husband, but there is absolutely nobody in their entire family that believes anything like that at all. Yeah. So it's about 5:30 p.m. They said he's kind of like, It's a Wonderful Life. What's Jimmy Stewart? Davis told police his wife was lying in a pool of blood, and he thought she had fallen and struck her head. When he could not revive her, Davis called the family doctor, who advised the frantic husband to call an ambulance. David called the police and requested an ambulance be sent. Police officer Robert Peel arrived at the home before the ambulance. He entered the home through the front door, which was unlatched. Officer Peel said he found Davis leaning over his wife, applying ice packs to her head. When ambulance attendants arrived just moments later, she was pronounced dead. Furtick said a plastic piggy bank, usually kept in the bedroom where the victim was found, was located by an investigator in another bedroom on the floor. So I guess they're basing the entire burglary based on the fact that a piggy bank was moved. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. When they said inside, is that on the next page or? What does it normally mean when it says continued inside? Is that the next page? Maybe it is. Let's see. I don't see it. me try going one more. Is that it? Oh yeah, a preliminary report said Mrs. Davis was killed by a blow from a blunt instrument to the back of her head. Sheriff investigators were called in to assist in the investigation. Hey, good night, Jason Bourne. Aren't you interested in this case? Sheriff investigators were called in to assist in the investigation. Verdict said no murder weapon has been found and that nothing appeared out of place in the home but the piggy bank. All doors and windows were locked, Verdict said, except the front door. A neighbor told police he saw Mrs. Davis come from the house and turn on the lawn sprinklers at about 2:30. So somebody saw her at 2:30 turning on the lawn sprinklers. Mrs. Davis was clutching a piece of hair in her hand, and a pair of scissors was found nearby. The hair had been sent to the sheriff's department laboratory for analysis. Clutching? I mean, wow. Davis said his wife often trimmed her own hair, however. Okay, well, that's kind of... Oh, wait, she was trimming her hair and then got attacked. So, I mean, that sounds stupid. Verdict said the Davis home would be considered a good pickings for a burglary because it's on the corner lot and there is a vacant house next door. Yeah, so maybe back then, you know, but that's the corner lot. Oh, you didn't want to listen to this story, Jason? All right, let's see. We don't have that one. Good night, Jason. Wife killed. Okay, this says $2,000 reward. Anyways, it's actually an interesting story because they think it might be like a serial killer later. You know, and there's these other murders that are like very similar in the same area. So, I don't know. I've got this whole I mean, look at this right here. Hold on a second. I guess that's her right there. That's a different document. This one, is this it? Yeah, I mean, look at this. You know, like, there's the autopsy report. Look at this narrative shit here. Man, I think it'd be so interesting to go over this. Look at this. Pages and pages and pages and pages and pages of the notes that the original law enforcement took. And then photographs that she put in here. The daughter, or I think this is the granddaughter right here. This lady right here. You know? I think it'd be sweet, man. What do you guys think? Don't you guys want to go through this? Yeah, that's what sucks, though, is you can't just do something else. You know, you always have to, you know, oh, you got to keep up and do the big cases that everybody wants or nobody's going to watch. I want every one of you to be watching when we go over that. Okay? It'll be interesting as hell because we get to see what they typed in. Now, there is information in there that she said isn't accurate at all by this one lady who tried to say stuff. But one of these days, we're going to go over, maybe, I was thinking maybe Sunday, you know, like a serial killer Sunday kind of thing. That's right. I got to do me. Yeah, I like them too. I think they're some of the most interesting cases we have ever done on here are the cold cases from, you know, I mean, just from a long time ago. We did one from, what was that one? The one in Cleveland, remember the girl was at with a friend and they were at a hotel or something like 1940 something. I mean, it was crazy. It was so interesting. You know, there's some maniac killer. That's how they said it. They never solved that one. Seems like that was about 5 years ago. Well, anyways, I think that's going to do it. But, thank you guys. Marty, thank you so much for your generosity there with the coffees. Yeah, there's no 25 graves. Okay, don't keep mentioning the 25 graves, okay? Please. That's bullshit. They didn't find 25 bodies. And you can't call something an unmarked grave if there's no body in it. It's just bullshit. That organization did not find 25 bodies. And I don't even see, are there any recent updates? I have been online the past few days. Yeah, don't take what Lori just told you as the update. There hasn't really been many at all. They just said that they were looking for her body on the... yes, they got a tip that she was found near the border, and that's it. No. There's no... That's just all garbage. Don't listen to that. That's what I was trying to say. Don't do it. NS Hippie, do not listen to that. There's none. Okay. They said, well, we were looking for Nancy's body and we found 25 unmarked graves. That's bullshit. Does anybody actually believe that? That would be like the main story in the world right now. That 25 bodies were dug up on the border right where Nancy Guthrie was supposed. Yeah, that's not happening. All right. And then what are the other ones? Unmarked graves. So they dug there's 25 holes in the ground, but no bodies in them. Maybe they dug the holes. The guys out there digging around, they dug the holes, and now they're unmarked graves because they're going to put somebody in them later. Come on. Oh. I had to squash that one. Right when Lori typed it in. 25 graves, no Nancy. Oh, man. Man, that's what, you know what? That would have been a great title for this video. 25 graves, no Nancy. Man, you know what? Hey, next time, send me that next time before I do the show. I'll put it on the title. I bet I would have had 300 people here if I had put that on there. 25 graves, or maybe 25 unmarked graves. What do you think, Lori? Would that work? Mm-hmm. What are you talking about, Sandy? She's not even here. Let's see. Oh, you remember the case with the... Paulette, the case with the... yeah, it was like in Cleveland. Remember that? That's a hell of a title there, Lori. You got to send me more of those. Man, what a great title that would have. Yeah, that would have. Yeah, dang it. Mine are just so generic. Yeah, why aren't you hanging out in here, Lisa? You seem like you're always just listening these days. Like, I hardly ever see you in there. I don't have any Carmelo aftermath. Yeah. I think most people... I actually think 90% of black people realize that Carmelo Anthony deserved exactly what he got. There's just a small minority of people who every single time turn it into like a race baiting opportunity, and every case is about race. You know, you know what's interesting? Like, if the same case, if Carmelo Anthony had killed another black student in exactly the same way. So let's say there was two black twins that were under a tent, and it was the competitor's tent, and he went over there. First of all, people would call it gang related. because of that. They would just immediately assume that. But you had these two brothers that are, on the other team, and they're twins, and they're black, though. And then Carmelo Anthony had stabbed one of them and killed him. It wouldn't even be a story. Like, it just wouldn't have made the news. It just would have been, And nobody would have cared what his punishment was. They just would have accepted it. Yeah, it's probably... Because now that we know that both sides are black, there's not going to be any bias with the sentencing and so forth. So it's just going to be... But as soon as it's another race is involved, they turn it into something. They always turn it into some bigger... it just sucks, man. Mm-hmm. What? Yeah, doesn't it just bother you after a while? Nobody would have cared if it was... It just never would have made a big story if the victim was black. Because that's normal, right? Like, the black people are killing other black people at a massively, way higher rate than other races, okay? So they just would have been okay with that. But what's weird about this one is a black person killed a white person, and somehow it's racist against the white person again? I mean, isn't this the other way around for once? I mean, it's just weird. God, it's just absolutely crazy. It's frustrating. It's ridiculous. And everybody knows it too, but people just don't, just to be PC, they don't say anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so why are you just there listening, Lisa Valenzuela, and not contributing? Like, why aren't you, like, part of the show talking and stuff? I don't get it. You've been doing that a lot lately. Like, I didn't see you yesterday much, or the day before. Yeah, Chicago's a freaking war zone. The only way that they could spice it up in Chicago is if somehow a white person was involved in one of the shootings. Then, now they give a damn. It's just stupid. Oh, yeah? What's going on? You got, like, allergies or the flu or... Yeah, usually you hear all the time. Mm-hmm. His parents are embarrassing. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Are you sleeping well, or is it just like something's draining your energy? Mm-hmm. Here, let me see if I can find... Let me just... Hold on. I was going to look at one more article on that. Let me go to the further one out. Is it this one? That's fine. Second. Okay, let's just read this last one on that same case that I was just talking about. Oh, yeah. Well, it says something about a piggy bank. So there's a page before that. All right, just as one, just to get you to sort of think about it a little bit. Lieutenant Charles McCaslin. And so this, McCaslin is actually the one that granddaughter had talked to, but he's not alive anymore. Lieutenant Charles McCaslin of the Huntington Park Police Department said he's received no information or even theories as a result of the offer, the reward offer and attempt by friends of Mrs. Sadie Theone Davis to find her murder. I haven't even had a crank call, he said. And you usually get at least one or two of those. Mrs. Davis, the wife of Huntington Park realtor and Chamber of Commerce president Ted Davis, was found dead in her bedroom by her husband. She had sustained severe internal injuries from fist blows, showed evidence of having been garroted by a dish towel or stocking hose, and had been shot in the neck, and shot in the back of the head. Any of the injuries inflicted could have caused death, according to the county coroner. The exact time of death is also a mystery, since the day of the murder was a hot day, and the time of death is usually fixed by the coroner by a formula involving diminishing body heat. Among the strange circumstances surrounding Mrs. Davis's death is the apparent lack of motive, despite the obvious presence of such saleable items as jewelry, or saleable items such as jewelry and silver. The only things missing from the Davis home at 2975 Saturn Avenue was a collection of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. Now, I talked to the granddaughter, and she said that that's not really accurate. It was just a piggy bank that money was put in. It wasn't a collection, and that was just empty. All right? So you have that, and then the second half is, and it was in the piggy bank. It says the bank had been transferred from Mrs. Davis's bedroom to an adjacent bedroom where it was apparently emptied by the murder. So like she's dead in another room, and then the piggy banks moved to another room and then emptied. No fingerprints turned up on the piggy bank, according to McCaslin. Also unusual was the fact that Mrs. Davis had been turned face up after being killed, and that the murderer covered her face with a dust cloth. See, that usually means that the person knows them, and they don't want to see her face. Her clothing had not been disarranged, nor was she sexually assaulted, according to McCaslin. These facts, when coupled with the neat appearance of the furniture and fixtures in the Davis home, have convinced McCaslin that the murderer is someone Miss Davis knew well. In my opinion, McCaslin said, the murderer had to make very sure she would not survive to identify him later. McCaslin's theory gained support from the fact that none of the doors or windows of the house showed signs of forced entry. Ted Davis, who discovered his wife's body at 5:40 p.m., had unlocked a side entrance to gain entry to the house. He told police later that the front door had been left unlocked. Despite the location of the Davis home on busy corner with 4 stop signs, no one reported anyone entering or leaving the house on the afternoon of the murder, nor did any of the neighbors notice anything unusual occurring at the house that day, according to McCaslin. Police also believe that only one shot was fired, since only one bullet has been recovered, and that from Mrs. Davis's head. The Davises did not own a gun, police said. Police also tend to believe that the killer was not a small person, such as a young or a woman, because of the violence done to Mrs. Davis's body by her assailant's fists. Hey, thanks, Lori Bach. Shake my head.
I can't figure out how to put an emoji in the super chat.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Police also tend to believe that the killer was not a small person, such as a youth or a woman, because of the violence done to Mrs. Davis's body by her assailant's fists. McCaslin said factors in the Davis murder, such as the absence of the robbery motive, tend to rule out connections with several similar murders in the Southeast this summer, such as the double slaying in the Downeys. So I have that one too. We're going to look at that one. In Downey's Stonewood Shopping Center parking lot of two sisters-in-law 9 days after the Davis murder. So I have that case too. No suspects. And guess what? That one has not been solved either. So anytime you have these cases in the same area at the same time that haven't been solved for 40 years, I always have more weight that they're related than I would have at the time. So it says, no suspect have been turned up in the Downey murder either, according to police. McCaslin said that he and two Sheriff Department homicide detail deputies, Sergeant Al Landry and Jim Solar, are still pressing for further information in the Davis murder. So there you go. Isn't that interesting, though, you guys? You know, she wasn't sexually assaulted. She was lying on her back, had a cloth over her face. She was beaten severely with fists on the body. She had a gunshot wound to the back of the head, and she was strangled, like garroted, etc. You know, so just like, wow. You know, and then there's these other people around the same time frame that were also shot. And I guess were shot with like a .22 caliber. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what's in those documents. All right. But how about Sunday we do that, right? Isn't that a good day for that? You know, kind of like possible serial killer Sunday. Anyways, thanks to Wild Bill Wassman, Alley Cake, Wild Bill Wassman, Alley Cake, Karen, Wild Bill Wassman, and Alley Cake. So far, that's only 3 people. And then guess what? Karen again, and then Alley Cake, then Wild Bill Wassman, then Karen. So out of all of those, just 3 different people. And then we had Martian Bigfoot. And then guess what? Karen, Wild Bill Wassman, and then 6 kids. So that makes 5 different people. Then Karen, Alley Cake, Karen, Wild Bill Wassman, Wild Bill Wassman, Wild Bill Wassman, and then Dana Dane. So that is 6 people. Then Wild Bill Wassman, Karen, Wild Bill Wassman, Karen, 6 kids, still 6 people. Karen, Jim Lawn, 7, Jim Lawn, 7, Wild Bill Wassman, and then Lori Bachman. So that means only 8 different individuals, which is just really different than it used to be. We see it like 40 different, you know, like everybody was helping. And so I don't know, man. Don't know how to fix that or what that means, but isn't that weird? Only 8 different people out of 180 people watching. And then also we had, you know, what really made it tonight was Marty's Bar and Grill with the multiple coffees up there. And then we also had Sandy Shirley with a PayPal. So there you go. But we also donated tonight. So I didn't break even, like I'm still negative. But we donated $500 to RAIN, which is Violence Against Women. So we got that. Now we are at a grand total of $298,100 and something dollars. Yeah, crazy case there, right, Liam? That's from 1971, though, that case. Hasn't been solved, and it's pretty cool because I've been talking with the granddaughter, and she's been trying to get answers for years and years and years, and she actually spoke to Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick at CrimeCon, and then she introduced us, and we've been talking. So Pretty cool, huh? All right, guys. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next. Well, I hope you found the show interesting. At least we went over the maps and the whole case again. And I don't know what the hell's going on with somebody saying that that Nancy's body's was seen down in in a grave, and then nobody found anything. But boy, they found 25 other graves. Bull crap. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Wild Bill Wassman, thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. It's like, man, it's just dead as a doornail. There's Wild Bill Wassman to give a glimmer of hope. Hey, wow, look at that. Esther M is the 9th person. We make that 9 people. Nice to see everyone enjoying listening. Yeah. I hope you guys are going to be interested in that cold case, though, because I'm really excited to. I just get so nervous doing those. Yes, it's me reading. When I'm reading, nobody's chatting. And when nobody's chatting, YouTube's algorithm doesn't keep notifying anybody. And then there's very few people here, and then it's really hard to make it. So it'd be like, 2 days of struggling. So hopefully, when we're going over it, try to comment and, it makes a difference. Like if everybody's chatting away and is zipping by, YouTube generally starts recommending, oh, wow, looks like people are, excited. There's something interesting going on over there. That's why it gets so frustrating when for like 15 minutes there isn't even a new comment. And then it's just... But yeah, thanks, Esther. Right. And by the way, it's all of you guys with, obviously some help from ad revenue, etc. Over the years, that's what it's allowed us to do all of the things that we've done. $298,000, over $115,000 into a scholarship fund, into a DNA fund for identifying Jane and John Doe's, over $115,000. We've given over $100,000 total to RAIN, NCMEC, and Texas EquiSearch. All of those three have gotten well over $30,000 each one. And then we have a scholarship fund where we have already given out, I think, 18,000, but we have 6,000 that we're reviewing applications for. The money's sitting there. And then we're already starting to build up the next one. So that would get us up to 30,000 on scholarships. Can you name another YouTube channel that has a scholarship fund for kids or it doesn't have to be a kid, but a scholarship fund for the criminal justice scholarships? Can you name one? Just one other true crime YouTube channel. And the answer is no, you cannot. So we do it here, they don't. And unfortunately, YouTube doesn't give a shit, and they don't pump the channels that actually make a difference in the world. You wouldn't know that, though, if you just listen to what the trolls say. Those people are absolute morons and have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. And until that next time, be safe out there.
Evil can never be dead enough.
And some of you make shit up.
Thought I'd wake you up right there at the end. All right, see you guys.